Gucky?
I'm ready.
Guck
I'm Gucky.
as fuck.
Duck as...
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Controllers and Coffee, a video game podcast featuring myself and Kat Gerritsen. Hello, Kat. What up?
Yo.
How we doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Very well. Enjoying video games this week, as usual. But, we have some tasty things to talk about tonight, as well as starting our first component of our, let's say, Tsushima Book Club, or Game Club, as it were. We are going to be talking about Ghost of Tsushima up to the end of Act 1. So I will do a bit of a spoiler warning later on, because we will be getting into story stuff. But for the first pretty much half of the show, we're going to be answering a question and looking at some of the news in the gaming industry, including some big changes, slightly small, medium, large changes from Metacritic, and our thoughts on next generation and exclusives, and also a very weird trailer that came out this week that we just need to talk about because it's something. But first up, I think we're going to talk about, answer a question that was asked last week by a friend of the show, Scopic, at Scopic TV, who asks, do you think consoles/platforms should have exclusives? Now, I've got a couple of articles here to reference pretty much both camps from PlayStation and from Xbox. While I pull them up, Kat, do you want to give us your kind of, I guess, overall thoughts on this? And, there's a lot of, discourse about this online at the moment with Next Gen coming up. What's kind of your main thoughts?
I personally, it's never been a problem for me because I've always been a PlayStation gal growing up, and all the games I wanted were on PlayStation, so it's never been an issue for me. Mm-hmm. But I think, in terms of looking at it objectively, when I think about, Steam versus Epic gaming, which is the same thing but on such a small level, I hate the exclusivity between them, and I hate that I have to go to Uplay and all that different stuff to play different games.
Yes.
And I think not having just die a little bit. Not having exclusives forces companies and platforms to perform better for the consumer to be the market choice. So I don't think it would be a bad thing if they disappeared, and I can understand also why it sucks for a lot of people who can't afford to have two consoles or have a PC and a PlayStation or whatever it may end up being so that you can get everything. So I'm not affected by it, but I'm happy for it to disappear. I don't need it, and it can only force it to be better for the consumer, right?
Yeah, and I think that's maybe something that people, when you talk about exclusives, immediately go to Xbox versus PlayStation. And I mean, Nintendo kind of sits out on its own entirely because they just do their own thing. But PC, that's a really good point, because PC, I guess until recent years, we didn't see a lot of that. But with things like you said, like Epic, making, reasonably large games exclusive for 12 months and stuff like Borderlands and Metro, and I guess that's something that
Creed, the new one, is going to be on Epic only, but you still have to open the Ubisoft player to play it. What? So you can purchase it in Epic, and then when you launch it, it opens Uplay, which is exactly what Steam used to do for other games, which is stupid, but it just makes it doubly as dumb. I have to open two programs.
Yeah, that's super weird, because what? I mean, unless Epic are just
need the numbers on there.
Yeah, because they're completely unrelated, and it's not like it's using Unreal Engine or anything like that. But still has to run Uplay, and then there's Bethesda launcher and Blizzard. What is it? Battle.net. Oh, did they?
Well, yeah.
Well, it used to be.
Did it used to be Battle.net?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was mainly when it was just WoW and a couple of other games. But now it's
Overwatch. Activision. Now it's got a few other things.
Yeah, now it's like all Activision Blizzard games. With the console side of things, I fully agree in a way. Like, I'm not, I guess, against it if it's a first party. If it's like Sony making a game from their first party, I don't expect that to be on all platforms. That is just ridiculous to think.
Yeah.
Like, to expect that, you know, like, even though Xbox are doing PC/console exclusives, like, nothing is exclusive on Xbox really anymore. It's like, from first party, it's all on PC. Like,
yeah.
they're not gonna bring their games to PlayStation, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm not gonna find Halo there. Like,
no,
Halo's not gonna be on my PlayStation. I think maybe more so for PlayStation, their exclusives really are important to their console sales because they don't have the services that Xbox does. Like, Xbox could probably stand to lose their console and they'd be fine, whereas Sony would then potentially just be out of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, they could still be developing titles, but they wouldn't have a console to sell them for.
Yeah.
They would just be that would significantly reduce their income, I expect.
Yeah, and like games like Death Stranding, which just released on PC, and Horizon Zero Dawn that's coming out later or early next month. Like,
yeah,
that took them, well, I mean, Death Stranding, it only took 8 months or whatever, 9 months, but Horizon Zero Dawn, it's like 3 years later. So them putting them on other platforms, including Steam, I think that's cool. Like, but I think people take it way out of context and they're like, everything just should be on everything. But it's like, yeah, but companies need a reason for people to buy their product.
And they need to have the resources to be able to make it for multiple different platforms. And then also there's the games that wouldn't get made unless they were being purchased for exclusivity, like Bloodborne, which Sony asked FromSoft to make a game for them only. And they did it, and it's one of the best games. I love it forever.
Yeah.
And I would not see that if it wasn't for exclusives, so...
Yeah, and that's it. I think the two sides of next gen is very, very different, which I think is really cool because it's not just the same thing. I have an article here from Push Square. Essentially, the title is Sony on PS5 exclusives. We can't take everyone with us from previous gens. And Jeff Keighley was talking to Eric Lempel, who is a marketing bigwig. That's what they've written here. And he said...
the bigwig.
A pillar of our company is innovation. It's a pillar of Sony Corporation, and it's also a pillar of the PlayStation Company. We're always trying to push the boundaries of play. We want to excite gamers and deliver new experiences. In many cases, we can't take everyone with us from previous consoles because you need new hardware and devices. And then he reiterated that PlayStation 4 won't be abandoned, but titles like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart are simply impossible on current-gen consoles. And he added that features of the PS5 controller itself set the hardware apart and help to create new experiences. I think that, like, that's fair.
Super agreeable.
Yeah.
That is so fair. And maybe we come from a background that makes it a little bit more understandable than to the normal or the average Joe. But hardware limitations are super real, and you're not going to be able to get it. Like,
yeah, because they clearly...
Not everything's going to work.
PlayStation in particular are clearly aiming to utilize things like, like their SSD and just having, the ability to load in all those graphics. That's why the first thing we see from Ratchet and Clank is where he's like going through all these worlds in what is
They're loading like like through all the vortexes, loading so much garbage. Like,
and
the
apparently
PlayStation 4 is just going to set on fire.
Exactly. And apparently that's like an on-rails section, but it's still gameplay. But like, you just can't do that. Whereas with Xbox, like, I think they're taking the route of, for one, they want to seem consumer friendly, which is fair, but they also want, I'm guessing they're just taking their time making those experiences that are truly next gen, like truly next gen, where they cannot
and they'll
run
pop
that
out a few years down the line.
Yeah. Like I would assume whatever the initiative we're working on, if it's Perfect Dark or like otherwise.
Yeah, it'll come out a few years down the line, and it's going to be
Exactly.
exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that, another news thing that we're not even really touching on this week is like Xbox have discontinued the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S all digital edition. So the only console they're currently manufacturing is the Xbox One S, which I'm kind of surprised about, but maybe it's just super cheap for them to make. That, to me, points at, like, if Lockhart is real and there's going to be this middle tier new console, like Series S or whatever, that it will have most of the, like, capabilities of the Series X, including the SSD, including the CPU, but just with less graphical fidelity, so you won't be able to, play something at 4K. I think that's fine because
8K?
you're still going to be 8K. That's never going to happen. I think that's fine because you can still develop those game worlds, but just render them at a lower resolution, or like the game design itself,
like render distance and
exactly. Whereas like the game design of these next gen experiences, whatever they might be, and like at the moment it seems like everyone's just talking about like how fast you can move through a world. I don't really care about how fast I can move through. No. Is that all? Like,
because my character's going to be stuck at sprint speed. Like,
exactly.
I'm not going to go any faster than they want me to go.
Unless I can fly, like in that Epic demo. You could tell that they were like, we need it to go fast. And there's that bit where she's like flying. But I just like, is that the only thing an SSD is good for? Just going really fast? I don't know.
I wonder how, like you're saying with Xbox not bringing their true, potentially, next-gen experiences until a little bit further down the line. Like, they've only just brought in all these first-party studios that would have been able to have that insider knowledge and know what they were aiming for, whereas a lot of smaller studios that Xbox caters to, like the indies and like the double A's, that sort of thing, they're not going to know that a new console's coming out and to aim for that stuff.
Absolutely.
So all of these like companies that they've just purchased, they're potentially like a step behind. So they're not going to be creating these experiences that are like melting the new consoles.
Yeah.
Like they're not potentially pushing it to the edge as much as Sony, who already have a lot of first party properties and are able to, I guess, create well in advance so that we do have games that are a lot harder on the device coming out at launch, as well as potential new features with the controller. Not that I really... they got the blow.
Yeah.
Like we've had that with Nintendo, and I don't
like
want it back.
Ago. And that's the thing, like... I'm interested to feel how that controller feels in my hand and feel the haptic feedback, because haptic's just something we use every day now in our phones and stuff. Absolutely. But like, I don't care about gimmicks in a controller. Like, I want a controller that is just solid, feels amazing to play.
I love the touchscreen.
I don't mind it. In Ghost of Tsushima, it's like, it's really well utilized, but I think like 99% of games is just a button to pull up a map, and Xbox kind of already have that because they still have the two buttons. They don't have a share button, which they'll have next gen anyway. But yeah,
it's not needed.
No,
when it works well, it works well.
So another article I had, which is the other side of the story, is from Phil Spencer. This one's from GameSpot. Sorry.
GameStop. What?
GameStop. What? I thought they were dead. Phil Spencer said, "You won't be forced into the next generation. We want every Xbox player to play all the new games from Xbox Game Studios. That's why Xbox Game Studios titles we release in the next couple of years, like Halo Infinite, will be available and play great on Xbox Series X and Xbox One. We won't force you to upgrade to Xbox Series X at launch to play Xbox exclusives." And I think on the other hand, that is an awesome proposition for a lot of people, because they're not ready to upgrade their consoles yet, but it means more
especially
people...
if you just bought one of the new ones.
Totally, yeah, exactly. Like, there'd be people that bought that Cyberpunk Xbox One X, like myself, but I'm going to get a Series X anyway. But, and and they won't want to upgrade yet, but they can still play
Families,
Halo. Exactly, right? Like,
people on lower income, like, that have to save ages to get a console, and maybe they just saved up to get a new one, and now they're like, fuck.
exactly. And also it means like more people are going to be getting Game
Engaging.
Pass. And then when people are hooked on Game Pass, and then they do begin to phase out Xbox One games, in 18 months to 2 years, then they'll be like, well, I'm ready to upgrade now. I've got all this, like, I've been enjoying Game Pass for 2 years. I love the ecosystem. I'm going to upgrade.
Yeah.
And by then, you would expect that those games that they're going to be releasing are truly utilizing the hardware for what it actually can do. And I think that's fair. Like, both sides of the coin. I think with PC exclusives, it seems more what's the word? Like, it's all about the money and like getting people to only play on your launcher. But then, like, Xbox are bringing out Halo on Steam now, and like Xbox are like, well, fuck it, you want to play, you can play it on Xbox Game Pass for PC in the Microsoft app, or in the Xbox app, or you can just buy it on Steam. They're still making money, but it's still on PC, so they're not having to develop it for another device. Yeah.
I think it's a completely different beast on PC because you've already invested in your hardware. Like, splitting it into different shops just makes it more inconvenient for the consumer. Totally. Especially when those different shop fronts aren't necessarily good. And having that exclusivity doesn't allow them to compete against one another, which it specifically in the case for PC, I think is probably exactly what it needs. They need to compete against each other to be able to grow and be better for the consumer.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different thing, really.
Yeah, but
software exclusivity versus hardware exclusivity.
Yeah, you're right. Like, that's a really good point you bring up. Is like you've as a PC gamer, you've paid for the hardware. You're not competing to make someone buy your console or your device. They've already got the device. Yeah. They're already, it runs Windows, and then that just plays from that. Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. But then there's like, GOG, and, for instance, Cyberpunk will be coming out on GOG, but it's also coming out on Steam because, like, it's another place for them to make money, and it doesn't really matter to CD Projekt Red where they sell. Like, obviously they get more from it when it's from GOG because it's their company, but
the difference as well is that, like, if you buy from GOG or GMG or whatever you want, you can get a Steam key as your purchase.
Right, okay.
And you pay that website or that company, but you get to download it on the browser that you use for most of your games, that everyone would use for most of their games. So it's like...
So
I guess buying from GMG is like buying from EB versus JB Hi-Fi sort of thing. But you still all bring it home.
So does GOG allow you to do that, or is it GOG just a launcher for...
Let me find out.
Because, I get what you mean. Like, that's like a shop front, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they do, but again, I'm not a PC gamer, so pardon my ineptitude.
No, that's okay. Look, I'm pretty sure, but I just want to double check because I haven't used GOG in forever and ever, so...
But even then, I think last year they did like a beta for, like, I don't know, it was like GOG 2.0 or something, and it I can't remember what it was called, but it essentially allowed you to launch any game from any launcher through another launcher, so you could keep your whole library together there too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like, I just want everything in the same spot. I don't care where it came from.
Yeah.
Do I get a Steam key when buying from GOG? No.
No.
Not from GOG, but
right.
GMG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so GOG is like
its
You
own.
play.
Yeah. Except it's owned by CD Projekt Red, and they don't have any
Yeah.
DRM. And
I like that.
yeah. Whereas like you play, I think it's up to Ubisoft if they have DRM or not, but they usually do put it in their games. So people don't want that because it fucks with the game experience. So
I don't want that. But yeah, like different. It's different.
Yeah.
Like I guess in a way it's like when you buy from JB or EB, they have different pre-order exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine you could only buy the game at one shop.
Yeah.
Like that would be that would be weird, right? Like it would be weird if I could only buy the game that I wanted at EB or this other game
Or
at JB. Like that would be weird.
If you bought it from EB, it only works on like an EB PS4. But if you buy it from JB, it works on a JB Hi-Fi PS4. That would be like, fucking weird. Like this code only works on
I have to order it direct from Sony to be able to use all the games.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be hell. That would be like consumerist.
Let's not go in that
hell.
direction.
Let's not give them any ideas. So yeah, I mean, we are, rational human beings who are able to look at all sides of the story, whereas a lot of people, I think, jump on like the exclusives are bad, and like I get if a company owns a developer and they want to make a game tailored for one piece of hardware, like a PlayStation 4 or 5, why the fuck not? Like it's not it. Yes, not everyone is lucky. Developers. Yeah,
like who only want to bother to make something in one way and not have to port it. Like whatever.
Exactly.
Who cares? Like don't hate. Man, other thing that I really don't get, sorry to bring it back.
Bring it back.
We'll wrap
bring it right. No, please.
The people that are so mad when a PlayStation exclusive is non-exclusive anymore.
Oh,
like if it goes to
Christ. Let's get into that. That is...
What is that about?
That is
Why are you upset? You've already played it. You've been able to play it for a year, dude. Like, calm the hell down. There's nothing with it. The studio you like is just getting more money. Like
exactly. That. Oh my god. This is why.
A rational reason for why you could be mad at that. Like
I don't understand how my Twitter has become so like filled with this kind of shit. Like I try not to follow toxic people, but then like people I follow will comment on something. It's like don't even engage. Don't fucking engage because. Those people are idiots. And like you see people like losing it because Horizon's coming to PC or whatever. It's like what? How does that? Oh my god! How does that affect anyone at all except PC players? It allows them to play a game that they weren't able to play before. That like
like if you don't have the console, it's just good.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets more money. Everyone gets to play the game.
No.
Why are you mad?
It's such bullshit.
We still get it first too. Oh, I
know, and I know, and that is so very, very true. Like, fuck that way of thinking. That's it.
Blows my mind. I'm irrationally mad now.
No, that's rational. That is fucking rational.
Rationally mad.
Yeah. So people are dicks. That's the main takeaway from this whole thing. Yes. Buy whatever platform you want, but don't be a little bitch about it, you know?
Don't be a jerk to other people. Let everyone enjoy life. We don't need no haters.
Speaking of haters, let's be haters for a sec, because our next topic is
turn it around.
A bit wonderful. So you brought this to my attention. Why don't you just give us a hot run through of what the fuck we're talking about here?
What's the studio's name?
Like FMV.
Wales.
Oh, sorry.
Wales Interactive. Wales Interactive. FMV Studio. And released a trailer. Well, Sony put up the trailer on the 17th. What is that? Literally
3 days ago.
A couple of days ago. 3 days ago. Once again, dating the podcast. But
that's fine.
they
goes up to
put
me.
out they put out this trailer for a new game called Gamer Girl, where you, the player, get to be a Gamer Girl's moderator for her stream, and you get to decide if she has a good day or if she has a bad day, and you get to basically shape her life, and it's fucked. It's just straight fucked.
The worst. It is the most cringe. Okay, I'm going to take a step back and just say, like, why is FMV even a thing?
Yeah, disclaimer, hate FMV.
Yeah.
I hate it. I don't want to see it ever. I do
didn't-
not want to see that shit.
I don't know if you played that Erica game that came out last year, but that looked god awful.
Absolutely not.
It's just the FMV should have died like years and years ago. I thought it did die, to be honest. I thought it was
It died exactly 25 years ago before I was born.
Yeah.
Like, I do not. I don't want to engage in that shit at all. I don't want to see it. Like, it's, despite it being actual real people, it's like Uncanny Valley shit. Like, I am
is.
so spooked out by these people looking me dead in the eye.
Yeah, like
fuck off.
what do you think to the comment section? And so anyone who's listening to this, just go watch it. Go look up Gamer Girl trailer on YouTube, and
Sony took their trailer down like an hour after it went up because the reception was so poor. They scrubbed it. They were like, goodbye.
See you later.
And everyone hated it. And Wales Interactive came back with an direct quote.
Please.
Gamer Girl is about the impact user comments and actions have on a streamer's mental health and well-being. Yuck! Yuck. That sounds well-intentioned, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like you're some fucking mod creep who's just telling this girl how to live her life
Man, like
in this
she's texting.
semi-horror setting.
Yeah. That like the start. It's like, okay, this is weird. Is this like some weird like I don't know, like simulation of being a streamer, like not a dating sim, but like in that vein of like she sends you a text message and you have to choose what to respond, and then it like breaks into this weird fucking horror thing, which makes no sense.
Like, moderator, what do I do? I hate it.
So
They
bad.
said that they said the research into the streaming content of Gamer Girl took 4 years. 4 years, and you brought that to to like, what are you doing?
God. They just watched
what's
fucking Twitch for 4 years. That's all they did.
Online abuse is real and still happening every day. Gamer Girl seeks to raise awareness of this issue. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's going to
just
raise
fun.
awareness of abuse when everyone abuses you for making a piece of shit game.
Or everyone just abuses this in-game streamer to see what happens. Like,
Yeah. Also, how fucking meta is it going to be if it releases and people stream it?
true.
Oh my
Also,
god,
like,
it's so
Everyone
bad.
in question, the fake streamer, whatever her name is, like Abby Girl 99 or some shit like that.
That poor girl,
but, like,
seriously.
I know.
Her life is
but
fucked now.
like, what type of streamer is she? Like, she's doing some IRL, she's got some gameplay, got some workout vids. Like, this girl's just streaming non-stop,
They're playing some
which is fine.
really poor quality Mario Kart ripoff that just looks so bad.
It's so bad.
Fuck's sake.
Blech.
God.
I'm pretty sure I read
awful.
as well. Yeah, okay, so the girl who plays it, her name is Alexandra Burton. And apparently she's co-written it, but I think what they mean by that is they said she improvised the entire script, so that's probably her co-written status. But like, they're like, you answered our fucked up questions, so congrats, you co-writer. But
Oh my.
I'm not about it.
Does it have a
hate
release
in every
date?
way. I don't know. Did it have one? Because they deleted the thing.
I don't know, the trailer.
Yeah, it's September.
Oh, fuck off. This September. Oh my god.
September 2020.
Is it bad that I
PS5.
want to play it to
Nintendo
experience it? Wow.
I don't want to play it, but I want to see what sort of hell.
Maybe I can watch someone stream it and be like breaking this fifth wall even. So yeah, that was god awful.
I hate it. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. It's just so it'll scar you like it scarred us, and we can be in this together.
It is so. I hate FMV so much. You're right. It is that they are real people, but it is so uncanny valley because the lighting is so like perfect, and because they're looking straight at the camera and speaking to the player, it freaks me out. It's not.
I don't even like it in movies when they look in my eyes. Like I'm like, don't look at me like that. A whole game of it where I have to talk back? No, thank you. I'm not. My first message, I quit. Like I am no longer your mod. Goodbye forever. Like,
block.
Good luck. Block. Turn off my PC and go out for a walk. Like no.
Oh my god.
No, not about it.
No offense to the studio who make it, because whatever. Like, I'm sure they mean well, but
probably well intentioned. But
who makes a game like that and actually expects it to perform well? Like, you cannot expect people to be like, "This is such a great game." Like, I feel bad saying that, but fucking hell.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you want to tackle what they're trying to tackle, there's only a few select ways that you can go about it that it's actually going to work. Like, if you had something that was so obviously taking the shit out of itself, that might have been a better direction. Or if you had something that was less real, that would have been a better direction. Don't make it an FMV, that would have been a better direction.
I think even like having it as like the kind of style of like a dating simulator where it's like anime characters on the screen, like kind of thing where they pop up, like that would have been way less like weird and confronting. Like,
I agree.
You know, because those like narrative games, and they're not all dating simulators. Those like, you know,
narrative games,
yeah, narrative titles, like they're kind of cool. Like there are some that are like, I'm still playing Night Call at the moment, and that's pretty much that. Like I literally just put it on auto scroll through the text, and I just sit back and enjoy the music. There's no dialogue, and I occasionally choose what to say, and then I choose, you know, who to drive in my cab and stuff. Like that's really, I love those kind of games. So they're super relaxing. You can kind of just switch off and enjoy the story. But when it's fucking FMV, it is god awfully frightening. Plus they're like adding this weird horror thing to it, which is like how much of the game is going to be sitting in front of the computer actually streaming, and how much is going to be going into some weird horror shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and she's just so happens to be holding her phone like this the entire time she's running around.
Yeah.
It does. Like, you can still see me perfectly clearly. Everything's fine. Like,
and then, like,
I don't know. I think, if they went, I think to even make it slightly better, if they went more dark or more gamified.
Yeah.
Either one of those directions. If you had it just like this dark from the start and not made it like played into the creepiness and weirdness of FMV, which maybe it's only us that experiences that, nobody else feels that way. Or if they've gone heaps more gamey and like you made it more interactive or less like you're talking specifically directly to somebody, put more elements in it and made it less like a creepy ass conversation. Maybe it would be better, but we'll never know. Maybe it'll come out and it'll be great.
I'm sure
but
it will.
I doubt
people will probably stream it for a laugh for about a week, and then it will die.
It's gonna blow people's minds, literally.
It may have the best story this entire year. You never know. It could be game
Doubt
changer.
it, but it could. I wouldn't put my chips down on that bad boy, but you never know.
We're so mean. Yeah, well, they shouldn't put a trailer out like that. And the fact that they called it Gamer Girl, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that is... Yeah. You're asking for...
it.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit. Okay, well, moving on to more garbage in the gaming industry. Metacritic.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna read the headline from Forbes, written by Paul Tassi, well-known senior contributor. After The Last of Us Part 2 Insanity, Metacritic has changed user score submissions. And apparently 36 hours you now have to wait from when a game comes out to when you can put a user score down. Now, okay, cool. That's a good start. I think, why the fuck isn't there a way to verify you've got the game or played it? Like, you know, by logging into your account through Metacritic and it looks at your game history, like every other review thing ever.
Exactly.
It's so weird. Thoughts?
I do have to say, though, I've never once bothered to try and put a Metacritic score in. Like, I don't know.
I couldn't give a fuck. I don't know who bothers. Like, I respect the people who actually put a decent review there. Like, you know, if something says 8 or 9 out of 10 or 4 or 5, like, okay, they give a fuck about what they're saying. Usually, if it's a 0 and often if it's a 10, they're clearly just trying to warp the numbers. The amount of user scores, I'm going to look it up. The amount of user scores on The Last of Us Part 2 is insane. Like, why would they? Who gives a fuck that much? There are 130,378 user score rankings, with a Metacritic score of 94 from critics and a user score of 5.5. Like, that is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Well, like, as a comparison, I just looked up Bloodborne's, because we already talked about that today.
Yeah.
And it's got 9,935 ratings for 8.9. Which it should be higher. Thank you very much. I love that game. No. But, like, who does that?
And then just looking at Ghost
If you've ever given a Metacritic score, please let us know what it was, what scored it.
Yeah.
I want to know what it was.
Like, unless it's like an indie game that no one's really given any love to and it's sitting there with no user score and you're like, I need to tell people to play this game. Like,
I can get that.
I get that. That is awesome. Do that. Be that guy who is the only review on a fucking game that isn't getting the love that you think it deserves. But to go and, like, review bomb or, like... Review
hype
bombs are just... Yeah, and, like, hype bombing is just stupid. But then, if we look at Ghost of Tsushima, Metacritic score is 83 from critics, which we'll get to that later on. User score from 5,700 ratings, more appropriate, is 9.2. Like, that's awesome. And I think if I went through these scores, there's probably quite a lot of reasonable human beings who really enjoyed the game and were like, I'm going to go give this game props. And it's like, there's 5,383 positive, 152 mixed, and 258 negative. Like, that's pretty impressive. But again, like, why? Like, I don't know. I never get the urge, like, when I finish a game. I hardly ever rate them on Xbox. Like, even though I find that system really handy, if I'm like, oh, this game's, you know, something that looks interesting, I will look at the ratings and then I'm like, I really appreciate these people doing a rating or even just doing a short 2-sentence review. But I hardly ever go do it. Well. Yeah.
And I rarely ever put reviews on. I think I've done 2, 3 in the entire time. And 2 of them would have been from Steam events where they asked me to make a comment to get points.
Right.
And one of them I know I gave a review genuinely because I did it recently. I can't remember what the game was, but it was a little indie and I freaking loved it. Yeah. Actually, you know what it was?
Devolver?
It wasn't a little indie. It was Devolver.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is literally amazing. Yeah. Like, short little one. You can 100% it if you're an achievement hunter on Steam. Like, and it's a great way to display upcoming games. So I did. That is I could bet you that's the only genuine review I've ever done. But it deserves it.
That's awesome.
But I don't get it.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they're
Absolutely.
not allowing it for 36 hours because I don't know. It's good. It's well intentioned, so I don't
Yeah.
mind it. But I think the people who are looking at Metacritic reviews to see whether or not they want to buy a game are probably going to be looking after 36 hours anyway.
Mm.
If they're if they're looking for a review, they're not buying it upon release.
Yeah.
So you could still get the review bomb come through, and
Yeah.
harm potential sales anyway. Um,
Especially
so I
like
guess yeah.
if someone's like desperately wants to just trash a game because they're idiots,
Like The Last of
they'll
Us.
probably yeah, exactly. They'll probably wait 36 hours and be like, "Ha ha ha, I still did it." Like also
Yeah.
every single person I've spoken to who has played the game has either loved it or enjoyed it a lot but had some issues with it. But no one I've spoken to has hated it. like
Yeah, like I I know I don't like The Last of Us 2, and I watched all of it while I was sick as a dog on the lounge because
right.
my brother was playing it,
Yeah.
and he loves it. And I, watching it while sick didn't do anything for me. I fell asleep in and out all day because I was wrecked as.
Yeah.
But he was in the second camp. Like, he does enjoy the game, but there are things he would rather be different. But he
Yeah.
doesn't hate it, even though he loves the first one so much. So like he felt genuine disappointment when he finished, but he was like, it's still a good game.
Yeah.
So
And like technically,
rational level.
yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, it looks insane. Like the level of animation and the the technical aspects of it are good enough that that game doesn't deserve a 0. I mean, to me, no game deserves a 0 unless it literally doesn't run.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
absolute dog shit and has a terrible message. Like, if it's all about racism's good and it runs like dog shit, then I'll give
like
it.
some Steam asset flip that's like completely inappropriate. Absolutely, that
Yeah.
deserves a 0. But like a real game that's released by a company probably doesn't deserve a 0. As much as I hate that fucking Dangerous Driving game, it didn't deserve a 0.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like
So
I
bad,
I
yeah.
really dislike the Last of Us, the first one. We'll pop
Yeah.
back to that because I don't want to be on this controversial Last of Us 2 shit.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 1, I did not like that game
Yeah.
because I don't like the gameplay. The story could be great for all I know. I didn't get far enough in because the gameplay wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But even though the gameplay is not my thing, I can recognize that it's not a bad game because I don't enjoy it. Like,
Yes.
people are whack.
Yes. They are.
I do appreciate reviews that are like, if you don't like this other game or this style of game, then you won't like this, because that's helpful for someone who's potentially purchasing it, not going, it's shit, I didn't like it. Like,
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I want to play The Last of Us Part 2, partly because, well,
I lend it to you.
some of it, awesome. Some of it's been spoiled for me anyway, so that sucks. But like, I want to experience the story, but I'm going to play it on very easy because I do not want to do the gameplay because I just like it. It might actually get me, but I didn't like the combat in number 1. Wasn't like, I fucking hate zombies. I just find them, I know they're not zombies, but they're pretty much zombies. I'm just not interested in that. I want to experience the story, but I don't want to just watch a video of the cutscenes because I want to get all the kind of nuance of it.
And the little side conversations when you're running between.
Exactly.
I want the story of The Last of Us without the gameplay as well, but
make an FMV of that, Naughty Dog.
please bring us an FMV of gamer girl Abby99 playing The Last of Us 2 so that we can get the story. Cut out all of the combat parts for us.
Yeah. But
Stupid.
I think maybe the reason why, and this is to give Metacritic some credit, maybe the reason why they haven't implemented something where you have to sign in through your account is just too hard. Like, maybe that is just a really complex thing.
And security risks sort of thing.
Because
Like,
you're signing in
not
with...
only is it hard to get organized, but...
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. Like, that side of things, fair enough. But even to the point of, like, before Last of Us 2 came out, there were, like, 15,000 5-star reviews, well, ratings on the PlayStation Store, because if you buy it, if you pre-order it, you can rate the game.
Stupid.
What is that? Like, so there's a game releases and there's already 15,000 5-star reviews. So it's like 5-star from launch. No, like, there's no comments or anything. It's just a rating. That is just as broken, if you ask me, because they're all people who've bought it in advance. Of course, they're going to give it 5 stars. They pre-ordered the fucking game. Like, that's such a dumb review system.
Could just pull from the other stores' reviews. Like, if they just pulled from Xbox, pulled from PlayStation, pulled from Steam, and were like, this is the amalgamation of all reviews.
Yeah.
But again, that's something you'd have to organize with those platforms, which would be insanely difficult. But it could be a problem solver.
And I think Steam reviews are good because, like, it's like the first thing you see when you look up a game on Steam is like, this many people liked it, and this is the overall, feeling of the game.
Yeah, and they have a little thing that's like recent downturn or whatever.
Yes, that's a good change.
Recent increase, so you can tell if people have just decided to come along and bomb something because of something the company did or an actor did or whatever, that sort of shit.
Yeah,
which is cool. I do like the Steam ones.
Yeah, or if a game came out. Sorry, say again.
Most of the people that review on Steam leave good comments, and they a lot of things when you see reviews, they'll be like, here's all the 5 stars. Whereas I think Steam's is rated by most helpful. You can say if a review is helpful or unhelpful.
Yeah.
And so then you can see 5s and 4s and 3s and 2s and 1s all right in front of you, as opposed to being like, okay, well, here's all the good things. Let me switch it to negative reviews only and see if I can read some garbage today.
Yeah. Which I admit I do that when I'm like looking up, like, say, an insurance company to go with. I'm like, I'm going to look at all the 1-star reviews and see how bad this is, instead of reading all the good 5 stars. Yeah.
Buying clothes online, like, what's this company like? Shit shipping. It got lost in the mail twice before I got it.
But then you're like, there's about 100 times the amount of 5-star reviews. Maybe I should focus on that. No, 1 stars only.
1 stars.
Yeah. So it's a system that is so hard to get right. And like, I never use OpenCritic, but then I hear that's quite good for, critical reviews, but I'm not sure. But
who are we to say?
Who
Not
are
reviewers?
we?
That's for sure.
No. Well, I am occasionally. I haven't done a review for a while.
You don't do a score though, like.
I do a score. I mean, you don't agree.
Never mind. I don't do scores.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's the thing.
I'm
like,
too chip choppy.
Some outlets don't even give a score, and they're like down the bottom of a review thing. So, of like Metacritic, it's like unscored reviews, and there's a bunch there as well. So,
yeah, that would be me. I don't know. I can't stick to a number.
Yeah, a number is very arbitrary. Like,
8, 9, no, it's 6. Oh no.
Yeah, and then when you give it a number, it instantly gets. People see a 6 and they're like, "This game is shit." People see a 9 and they're like, "This game is great."
It's not garbage.
No,
I hate that. Like
a 7,
5 and below.
Yeah,
garbage. Like a 7 is good. That's a good game.
There's some great 7 games out there. Seriously.
Yeah, like someone put effort into that. Like, I'm popping on those 6 and 7s. I'm fine with that.
Give me that Greedfall. Greedfall was, I don't know what on Metacritic, but fuck, that game was sick. Like, straight up.
I'm gonna find
props
for you.
Also, I don't know if I showed you this, and anyone who might be listening or watching should check this out. It's a new game from the Greedfall developers Spiders called Still Rising, one word, and it's about like an alternate history French Revolution where there's robots, and it looks amazing. Definitely check that out. I thought I'd throw that in because like no one seems to be talking about it except Mr. Matty Plays on YouTube. And I was like, this looks so cool. So that's coming out next gen. Awesome. A new game from Spiders. What has it got?
Yeah, Greedfall is 7.
Mm-hmm. I love that game. I'd probably rate it a little bit higher than a 7 because I loved it. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But like, I know why it's a 7. It's janky as fuck, and it's just it's
Yeah.
AA tier, and
That's what you're using to different things. Fidelity, like
yeah,
control,
yeah,
story. Put them up. Let me see.
absolutely. All right. Well, from hating the industry to loving it, we're going to jump into our celebrating. Beautiful turn of phrase. We're going to jump into our Tsushima Book Club for Act 1. So if anyone who's listening or watching has not played Ghost of Tsushima and doesn't want anything spoiled, we're going to be... Get out of here. We're going to be talking about spoiler stuff, gameplay stuff, story stuff, everything up until the end of Act 1 of Ghost of Tsushima. So if you don't want anything spoiled, jump away now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have...
come back later.
We do, yeah. Come back see the time cards for the outro and us being stupid.
I mean, come back once you've played up to the end of Act 1. Come back and
absolutely do that.
do what we said.
That is a great idea. Play this game too. Like no spoilers. It's fucking excellent. But for everyone who has played it or is playing it and you're up to the end of Act 1, stay tuned. We're going to go through our thoughts. So click away now if you haven't.
Bye.
All right, let's talk Ghost of Tsushima.
Let's talk. Now, let me just, I guess, get a little forward here. It took me 2.5 days to finish Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
2.5. Like, I'm not talking like I came home from work and played for a few hours. It took me 2.5 days of that.
Yeah.
I took leave. I have been sitting down playing the video game all day.
Yeah.
It took me 2.5 days to do Act 1.
Yeah.
Mainly my own fault because I got carried away doing all the side stuff.
Side stuff
But
is good.
2.5 days to do Act 1.
That's awesome. I last night I was up to the mission where we had to go to finish Act 1, and I was like, I'm doing this tonight because it's a good spot for us to kind of reach to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
But I've still got
I've
got loads of stuff remaining to do in that bottom area, and I'm not just gonna go straight into the story stuff now. I'm gonna keep exploring.
I absolutely cleared the first area before I moved forward with Act 1. I did literally everything.
That's so sick.
I skipped nothing.
That's amazing. And it is all... Okay. Alright, I won't go into any, I guess, negatives. There's not really any negatives. I guess it just falls into some tropes of open world games. Tell me. Alright, let's go into the very minimal negatives. Go for it.
I dislike when I crawl under something and it goes to first person.
That is a very minor negative. Have you?
It's so jarring. That's all I dislike. That's it. I'm done.
I think I played Batman, so it's pretty much exactly the same as Batman when you crawl through a vent, so it wasn't as jarring.
I get it. It makes sense. Like, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see what's under there, but I don't appreciate it that much. It's kind of weird. And sometimes, like, I'll clip inside my head and I'll see, like, this ghostly outline of what I look like. But, that's literally it. That's my whole negative. I've got nothing else.
My only negative, I think, is just the slight... Well, it falls into a lot of tropes, but they're not unenjoyable. Like, collectathon stuff and bandit camps, which I must say, I fucking love doing the bandit camps in this game. Yeah.
Let's go.
Especially, what's the shipyards, which are like bandit camps, but huge. They are, well, the one I've done is super fun. So I think, my only gripe is the slight open world stuff, faff that you have to do. But I still thoroughly enjoy all of it. So where do you want to start? What should we start at the start of the game?
Start at the start.
Okay.
I'll let you lead.
All right. So opening scene is hectic as fuck. That first bit where what's his name? I can't remember now. Bloody Masako's... Is it Masako's husband or whatever? Gets burnt to death.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oof.
man, that was brutal. And it like really
Ooh.
sets the Mongols up to just be brutal fuckers. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. What a great intro. And then
Khan.
oh,
He's just like, boosh, douche,
he is
fucking. Oh.
brutal, isn't he? Such a cool bad guy, I think. Like, I like how they cut occasionally to him and your uncle Shimura, because that kind of it's very cinematic. I love that. Like even the fades across the screen, like the transitions when it cuts to like the Castle Canada and then it cuts to them in the cell, and he's like, he's just so menacing, and he's.
I think it's really cool as well. Like parts of his character where he's like, I learnt your language and your traditions, and like that's just sinister and dank.
Yeah.
Like very nice, as opposed to just being like a fist coming in. Like
yeah, he's like very calculating. The fact that he knew essentially, we're going to be all over the place. The fact that he knew that you were coming for him and he just fucked off out of there clearly shows like, he let you get your uncle back at the end of that, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Shimura Castle and really get under your skin by taking your ancestral home.
Your home.
But he's
sucker.
just such a good bad guy from the minute the game starts. Let's talk about presentation, because holy moly, the way the game is shot, the way when you start a mission and it shows like a really beautiful scene, and then like the kanji
or a grizzly scene.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so well done. The fact that every mission just has one of those screens and it's like the tale of, whatever, and the tale of this, and then just like the mission name. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. That is something actually that there is another negative that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like overlay of writing happens, for example, every time you go to a shrine and you clap, you honor your shrine, and then it puts the text in front of you. And I want to hit the map. I want to see where I'm going next, because I normally just go to those things on the side, and so I have to like readjust where I am. But when the text is up and when it's blowing away until that last particle leaves your screen, it just pauses it.
Yeah.
It just pauses it. And then I have to hit play again, and it takes even longer. I'm like, look, see the map! Oh no, what's happening? I've done 400 shrines!
I want to get to my next Fox Den, god damn it.
I've got to run! That's, again, a minor gripe.
Minor, very minor. But you're right. It's a backhanded compliment almost, because you're like, hurry up, I want to play more of the game, like, get to the gameplay.
Absolutely. Out my way, I want to play.
What horse did you choose, and what is its name? Oh, nice. What did you call it?
Nomu.
Nomu. That's awesome. I chose the white horse, and I called it Sora, which means.
Oh, I was gonna go for Sora. I was like, Sora, Kingdom Hearts, baby. You're gonna get so many. But no, I really just love Nomu, and the way he interacts with his horse as well. He's like, "You're a good boy, Nomu."
Yeah. I would never let you go, Sora. So good. I thought they nailed that in Red Dead, where you can just pat your horse and stuff. I mean, I wish I could pat my horse and feed it, but I love that it's like this horse will be with you for the rest of the game. Like, that's sick. And you can't accidentally kill it. Thank fuck.
Right? I have accidentally hit him by accident. I'm like, ugh!
Yeah, at the start I was like, oh yeah, it's triangle to get on the horse, like in every Rockstar game. I'm just like, dude, sorry, Sora.
Big attack. Have you seen one of the end mission slates? He's sleeping with his horse.
Yes.
And he like nudges the horse awake.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. As well as I'm like, get up off the ground. I gotta run. But I'm like, oh, it's so cute.
And I love being on the horse if I need to get somewhere fast. But if I just want to explore, I'm just on foot. I'm not even sprinting all the time. And I'm just like looking around. And I got down to the beach at some point, and I was just like, I'm just going to walk up the coastline, like, and find stuff on the coast. And it was just so like zen. It was so nice.
It's so beautiful.
It really is beautiful.
And I love finding like the vanity items they call them,
Mm-hmm.
where like you walk around and they'll be like, over here there's a pillar of honor which has got a sword, and over here there's like just a hat laying around, and I'm like, give me that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the. Oh my god,
Like,
and the
let me put
customization. Oh,
the haikus.
oh my god, they are so good. It's like so
I love making
relaxing.
poetry. I've
And
never loved poetry more.
and you get a headband. Do you get a headband from all of them? Because I've done 3.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're so cool. I love also that, say, the samurai armor, which I just rock all the time. You don't have to wear the helmet. Nice. You just like,
Yeah, so
you're
good.
just finding all the stuff. Yeah, I like that you can just
Yeah, that's
change
me.
to a headband without it affecting the armor.
And the
'Cause
mask.
yes, I like the mask with the big bushy moustache. Looks
Yes, I wore that for
hilarious.
so long. You can see my frog screenshot that I sent you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have worn exclusively the traveler's attire the entire time to try
Right,
and find all the
yeah.
collectibles.
Yeah,
I'm at or over 50% from almost everything.
that's so good.
Which is amazing. Because I'm like, where is it? Where's my item? If I'm running along and I feel the little zoom zoom in my controller, I'm like,
Yeah,
changing path.
yeah.
Where are we going? I'll
Maybe
level up all the way.
might have to do that. Just put the traveler's attire
It's
on and just start at the bottom of the map and just wander around.
up.
Yeah.
Have you picked up Sashimono banners?
Yes. Yeah.
If you keep picking them up, I don't know if you've done this, you may have not. You get to trade them in for different saddles. Like
Yes.
once you hit
Yep.
certain amounts, you get different
Yeah,
saddles.
I got a
I'm
new
like,
saddle.
hello.
And the singing
When you
crickets.
get, like-
you can,
Yeah, for different songs.
And it took me a little while to realize that song, the first song, just makes the sun come out. So if it's stormy and you're like, I don't want this anymore, you just do your little flute solo, and the fucking, oh my god, that's just
Can I
pristine.
let you know? My fucking it is literally about 100% storms for me. I'm like, where's the fucking sunshine, dude? Like every couple of minutes, I'm like, swipe, give me the fucking sun. I don't want this shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked it up because I was like, why is it storming so much? Like, I don't want to see. Oh, like the sound effects are great. I don't want to
Yes.
see no shit clouds though. I want that beautiful ray of sunshine to filter through
So
these
nice.
leaves.
The bamboo
Turns out the
forest.
more you use your but it turns out the more you use your ghost techniques, the more stormy it becomes.
No
so
way.
I have accidentally used far too many ghost techniques, even though I feel like I've been doing pretty samurai. Like I've been challenging people all the time.
Yeah, I do a lot of assassinating.
It's true. I do run up to people and just jab them in the throat as I go past, like, ah! So I need to be more of a samurai to get some sun back in my life. But how
Oh, that's amazing.
so good.
Okay, I'll get to that later. The like level of detail in like the foliage and like the. Okay, so you would have done obviously the mythic tales where you find like
Absolutely.
a map and stuff. I love that like it's like look for the blue chrysanthemums or look for the violet whatever.
A little picture that you can make bigger.
Oh my god! And the like the white leaf tree and like they're just these areas that you're looking for it because you're looking at the map, but then when you see it, you're like, oh, that's it because there's the fucking violet flowers everywhere, and you just the fucking presentation is excellent.
I've run over the whole fucking island, and like, you know how like you have that fog of war, and say
Yeah.
I've run down this half and I've run down that half, and it looks like there's just a tiny little sliver in the middle. I'm like, okay, I'll run up there and clear that out, see if I missed anything. And there's a whole area in there that looks amazing that I somehow didn't see from either of those two paths that I've already taken. Like every step in this world is a beautiful, like, new experience.
It really is. It's
Stunning.
so satisfying just strolling around.
And some places are just beautiful and they do nothing, and I'm just like, let's just hang out in this red flower inn.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here. There's fucking nothing going on, but I love it. Like
the Golden Temple, I love just going back there to like upgrade my shit. I'll just fast travel there, and it's like, this is just so glorious.
You've got the hook, yeah, because you finished Act
Yes.
1.
Oh my god, how
Um,
good! I can go and do that
so good. I mean,
shrine now.
hooks are in 20 games. I know! Hooks are in so many games, but it feels so good.
I'm all
But
about it. Give me a fucking grappling hook in every game. I'm so in.
the same. But in the Golden Shrine, that 5-story pagoda, you can grappling hook all the way up to the
Ooh.
top. And there's
Wow.
a vanity item at the top,
Ah,
on
cat.
top of many pagodas.
That's so sick.
Um,
I'm so.
Hot tip, because I was running around, I was like, I know you're here, you little fucker. I'm like,
Oh, because
where are
your
you?
controller's going off.
Yeah, I'm like, where are you? I was lost, dude. That took me so long. But man, I love every fox shrine,
Oh my
every
god.
like Shinto shrine,
Yeah.
every haiku, every pillar of honor,
Getting naked in the
every
bloody hot springs and seeing
every
samurai
hot spring,
butt,
every peasant that I save on the side of the road.
who I
Like
then bow to
everyone is
every time.
exactly like you are
Always.
welcome,
And they do it back.
bastard.
It's so cool. And the fucking frog shrine that spawns all the frogs.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I found a frog one, a butterfly one, a crab
Oh,
one.
wow. Oh, is that why
a
the crabs
fish
were following you?
Yeah, they follow you around. A fish one, a firebug one. Did I say
Wow.
dragonfly?
No.
I found heaps because I was on the hunt for them, and it turns out once you find 10 of them, you get an achievement. And I'm sure there's definitely more than 10 because I'm not halfway through the game yet. But
Yeah. Are they all scattered everywhere, or are they like on the road to a Shinto shrine? Because the frog.
oh, they're
ones-
anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
The first one I found, butterflies, was in a bandit camp. Like they'd taken up
okay.
camp in a cemetery, and it was just in there. One of them I found on the side of the road. Like they're just around. The ones
cool.
with the fish are obviously in front of bodies of water.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Do they spawn
but
loads of
man,
fish?
yeah, heaps. They're like,
Oh my
jump out of
god.
the-
That's fucking
I
sick.
I just love this game. How are you going for upgrades and your stance progression, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I just unlocked. Is it wind stance for spear boys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the third one.
third one. Yeah, I unlocked that just before the final mission of Act 1, and I love that. And I
How
love
was
just not very far, like the first one or two, the first two in the sword one, and then one in each of the other ones. But I've pretty much got almost all of my deflection up, and
oh, your parry. You went parry.
I love the parrying system. It's so good.
I'm
I can
dodge. I'm on that perfect dodge. Fucking
Yeah.
stab him in the back.
yes.
Now I'm getting the parry tree now, but I went dodge first.
Yeah. And what's the other? There's the ghost tree, and then there's
Ghost tree. There's your there's 3. So there's your stance tree, which is 4 by like 5.
yeah.
And there's your ghost abilities and your regular abilities
Yeah.
and things. And then there's
Then there's like your like exploration.
then your parry and your parry,
parry and
your dodge,
evade.
and then your exploration ones.
Yeah.
So before I left that first area, I almost completely filled all of my stances.
Wow, cool.
The whole dodge thing. I got pretty much all of my weapons and abilities, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I unlocked one of the exploration ones, which is the vanity one, to help me find that fucking
Nice.
thing on top of the tower.
Yeah. Sweet.
But like there's so much to do in the first area that you can just go ham and just know it unlocks so much stuff, and it's so good. Then I'm like super strong, like Cotton gun.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
get
good.
him. Have you explored the top part at all, or have you just left it after the first act?
No, I did the top. I started my exploration of the top
Yeah.
last night and then today.
Is it
But I did.
Is the landscape different? Like, is it? You're in the top. Yeah, that's so sick. I'm like last
Yes,
night. I was like, I'm finished. I'm not even going to explore the next section. So I'm so excited. But I think I'm going to go back and do what you did. Just like unlock
It's
as
so
much
fun.
as physically possible.
It's so good. Like, oh my god. And like I fully tried to get rid of all of the fog on my map before I moved on because I was like, I'm just having too much fun. Like I don't want to move on. This place is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I want to go everywhere. But this look, this may sound negative, but I'm still feel very positively about it. Just the area that you first go into of the second part is my least favorite biome.
Yeah, it's probably
if that makes sense.
Environment, I guess. Yeah.
But I still love it. Like it's still fantastic. It's just less colorful, but that's fine. You know, I'm all about the saturation. But yeah, I started exploring probably about halfway up the next section.
Yeah.
And I've just started getting into those top ones this afternoon, only because I was like, I know there's like a mission up here to get armor, so I'm going up there. I'm going. I've got so much stuff more to do, like so much. But oh my god,
the vanity stuff is really, really cool. I love just like dyeing armor, and my sword, my sheaths for my sword are just hectic. I love them. There's a real flamboyant one with like huge feathers on it.
The first one I got was the Heavenly Strike one. Funnily enough,
that's the real flamboyant one. I was like, I like my white.
I love it. Actually, the first one I got was Yasha's Embers. I just so happened to find it. I didn't buy any from the vendors until I found heaps of different ones.
Right. Okay.
I have so many now, and then I bought them all. There is a vendor in the first area that specifically does dyes. Have you found them?
Are they like in a little, like, almost at the top of a hill, like in this tiny little village area? Like, not even...
the white... Yeah. So there's like the white dye merchant that gives you the white dye.
Maybe? Is it... Yeah, I don't know. I found a guy who literally all he wants is flowers, like, to make dyes. Maybe that's him. I don't know.
But
I'm just gonna re-explore that entire area until I know it backwards.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much stuff. I got this. The other thing that I really, really enjoy is that just running around, and people will be like, "My lord," and they just talk to you as you run around. But you can talk back to them. Even if they don't have a speech bubble, you can talk back to them, and some of them will just give you missions. Like, I just talked to this random girl or lady that I found in a farm just because she was like, "My lord," and she was the only one that had done that in ages. And I was like, "Oh, hello," and I rode up to her, and it said that I could talk to her, and she told me about some dude crying on the beach, and then I went down and found the dude crying on the beach. And then there was a whole mission. Or today, I found like a little blood stain on the ground, which is part of the regular environment because we're in a war. But this one had like some extra stuff with it, like some clothing boxes or whatever. And I walked up to it. I was going to walk past it, but the little R2 popped up. And I was like, what is this? And that was another full quest that was just laying on the ground that you'd never think to walk up to unless you walked over it and got that R2 prompt. Like, there's so much stuff like that.
What I think is
hidden around.
Really, really good game design, because that mission where the guy's crying on the beach, I haven't done it, but I've unlocked it as a rumor from somebody completely different. So that's cool that it's not like you have to talk to this certain NPC to learn about a side quest. You just have to talk to somebody who might mention it, and it's just like appears on your map as a rumor. That's really clever.
Yeah, I think so cool.
Because it's not like, and you don't have to do them straight away. It just appears in your side missions list.
Your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. And I'm guessing that one you found in the ground, that thing you found in the ground, is like, there's probably NPCs in the world that will tell you, like, I saw this thing on the, someone had been attacked on the road, but you found it before anyone told you about it.
Exactly, because I ended up going and finishing the quest, delivering the quest to an NPC, and they told me about what had happened. So and it felt like I clearly could have gone to them first, because I came to them with a story of like, I found this and this and this, and they're like, no, that's not true, this is the story. And I feel like if I'd gone to them first, they would have been like, this person did this, can you go and do that, sort of thing.
So sick.
And I think I realized that was happening when I was clearing the first island, because I talked to so many people for so long. I finished Act 1, and then I went back and did a couple of other things. And when I started talking to people then, they would mention, I have family up in Arashima, can you go and help them, sort of thing. And previously, no one had ever mentioned anything from the other area.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, they don't even need to be someone who could be close. That, like, it can just be anyone at all. I was like, that is so good.
And I'm guessing,
so
finishing
good.
Act 1 kind of unlocks those dialogue options from NPCs. Yeah. That's
to give you missions in a new area.
Because, it means you do more just exploring, like, naturally. And that's why the wind thing is so cool, because it's not
the
like...
wind is so good. I love the wind.
When I first saw that, I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, great way to, like, make it a natural thing. But experiencing it, and the fact that it's not, like, there's no marker, it's telling you, go this way, but you still have to find what you're looking for. Like, and then when you're quite close, a marker will pop up. But the fact that it kind of leads you in a direction means you do spend more time just looking around. So many games are like,
and you can
we want to...
birds.
Yeah, which I always do. I'm like, oh, there's a fox, or there's a bird, or like there's just something over there, and always. That bird might be leading me to something that's in the same town as what I'm going to. Anyway, oh my god, like the bamboo strikes, fucking,
I love them.
So
good.
It's so good.
I did look as well there. You can change the accessibility settings on it as well, for people that wouldn't be able to do that timing, or things like the button holding for the for the strike and that sort of thing. Like, you can change all of that, which I thought was amazing. Like, I don't even know why I was looking through the settings for that, but it was probably because I was like, I need to go to bed. Let me just scroll through the options.
I don't want to leave.
I don't want to put it down yet. But man, it's so good. Bamboo strike though.
Jules.
When I get all three first time.
Oh, so good. So good. All right, let's talk about my favorite part of the entire game so far, Jules. Oh, I love him. My fucking god. The presentation, like, I cannot praise this game's cinematic direction enough, but like the way they're shot, and it's like, and like, dong. It's so good. And like the fact that it locks on, so because there are a few, like, not, I don't think they're that really issues, but there are a few like things to get used to moving the camera during fights.
I'm like, there's enemies around me, I'm surrounded, I can't see what the hell's going on, but
because you can't
I learned to not lock on.
Yeah, because you can't lock on, and you're using the face buttons, not the shoulder buttons, so you kind of have to use your thumbs, like, for the buttons, then the camera. You do get used to it.
Dexterity of your thumbs.
Yeah, and it's just a change. I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of people seem to be like, "Oh, the camera's crap," but I think it's different to most games where it just locks on, and I kind of like it that it doesn't lock on, because you can still like parry an attack that's coming from the side or from behind.
I agree. I think it's really good.
Sometimes, like, you have to be quite accurate, especially with like the thrusting attack.
Yeah, the thrust is the only one. Sometimes I hold it and he turns around and holds it, and I'm like, you're facing the wrong way.
But that is my favorite move.
And then turn around and go.
Yeah, that is that double thrust is like it's so satisfying when they're like they're about to go for attack and you just get it and just fuck them up. But the fact that the duels not only have like the the camera shot from the side, but then do lock onto your opponent, like, that is just excellent. And
they're melee only, like you can only use your sword and your
so you can't use. See, I didn't even. I didn't even try, because I was like, it's a duel. I'm not going to use any like abilities, but right, so you can't actually use like your throwing kunai or whatever.
Yeah, I think I thought a tooltip came up when you first started, and it's like this is a melee.
Maybe it did, and I was just too caught up in
the like,
beauty. I was like, well, I'm not. I was even like, I don't want to heal because I feel like I'm cheating by healing when this guy, can't heal, but I still healed. So, but
his hellfire is quite larger than ours.
Yeah, exactly. What have I done? I've done the purple flower one, which was against shit. Who was that against?
That was the purple flower. Was that for the bow?
No, it was for. Oh my god, why can't I remember this?
What do you get? Because you got the bow.
The bow was with the demon.
Heavenly Strike.
Heavenly Strike was against the. I can't remember his name. The dude who killed the samurai guy, and you're like in the field of
that was in
swords.
Yeah, and the sword field.
And the demon bow is against that demon dude with the mask. And like all the I assume they're crows were flying around, and it's just like so like visceral.
Oh yeah, that was so good. I love that arena.
But the purple flower one, it was my favorite visually because it was so pretty. And then when you have to fight against. Sorry?
It was Tadayori's one.
Yeah, which is what?
That was the... Out?
Is that the first?
The outfit, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the outfit. Yep. The bowman's outfit.
Yeah. Yes. I love it.
But then, that was just beautiful with the purple flowers. But then when you fight, is it Ryuzo? The guy who turns against you. That fight with like the floating lanterns, oh my god, like
beautiful.
That was stunning. Even like to the point of like I started hitting him out of the like pool of water, and I was like, no, I'm coming back in here. I want to be in the lanterns.
The exact same thing. I was like, come on back, man. Back me up over here.
Yeah. It's so
let you die in the water so we can start again.
Brilliant design. I love the sword on sword combat. Like the fact that you do really get more powerful as you get through it as well. Like I love that sense of progression. Fuck, it's so good.
I love switching stance. Like,
oh my god.
I thought it was going to be really hard because the first stance that I really bought into was water.
That against the shield.
I just fucking love the water stance. Yeah. They have like this attack where like you hit hard once and then you do 5 really quick strikes.
Yes,
and absolutely
I just unlocked that. Yeah, I love that.
So good. And so I bought into that completely, and I was like, how am I ever going to switch to these other stances? And from things like playing Neo, like switching stance is always really difficult and annoying, but it's so easy. And like in every fight I'm like, oh, a shield man, like we just quickly switch. Oh, this big guy's coming along, let me just switch this sword. This guy's got to switch this out. Like
you are so much more effective. Even like going from a shield guy to a sword guy with the first two, like stone and wind, you are way more effective with your heavy attacks against the sword guy using stone than you are trying to do a shield breaker against a swordsman. Like it just, and the fact that you can just instantly switch and it doesn't take any time.
Because it slow-moves it.
Yeah,
I could be like, I'm gonna get hit.
Yeah. Except at one point I was absolutely surrounded. This is like in the mission going up to like infiltrating the castle, and I was like, oh shit, what's the button for my kunai again? I'm like, freaking out. Accidentally threw a smoke bomb, and then they all ran away, and I was like, okay.
That's what I keep forgetting. I always forget. Fucking, I'm like, kunai. What am I? Chuck it. Or I'm trying to like shoot my bow, and I'll draw it, and then I'll let it go, thinking that I'll shoot it, but I just like unequip it, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, cool. I'm not the only one then. But the control scheme I think is pretty like it makes sense once you get used to it. But there is a lot of switching, and if you're long distance and you're like, I need to use the heavy bow. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not good. Like I've got dodge and hit down.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dark Souls coming out in you. I
Yeah,
can
exactly.
dodge shit.
I can dodge and I can hit, and like Dark Souls fully trained block out of me. So whenever any game's
Yeah.
like you can hold L1 to block things, I'm like, absolutely not. No way am I doing that.
Maybe that's...
I find myself, it's my downfall, dude. I find myself in duels being like, I can parry. Like,
yeah.
parry the bastard. That'll make me win. Stupid.
Whereas
But so good.
I never played Dark Souls, but I played Sekiro, and the whole game is blocking and parrying. So in this, I'm like block and parry constantly. But the parry window is like, it may as well be 5 minutes compared to Sekiro.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that most of the time when I parry, I get the perfect parry.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the time when I dodge, it's a normal dodge, and I have to try and get the perfect dodge.
Right.
The other thing with the dodge, I wish I never bought the double tap to roll, because if you double tap, you don't get the perfect dodge and you can't attack back. And sometimes I'll double tap by accident because I'm just so used to button mashing in Dark Souls, and it'll like keep my key input, even though I'm just like, I'm mashing them so quickly. I just want to move, and then it rolls me. And I'm like, you motherfucker! I wanted to stab.
So there's those massive dudes with, I think, with a big axe, a double-sided axe. They always seem to fuck me up. I can't seem to just like dodge them, and then when I try and do a roll, they just hit me like 5 meters. What the fuck am I doing wrong there? Do I have to dodge into them, or?
Well, the roll helps with them because the roll gets you pretty.
But you have to be really quick, I think, to do the roll to actually get out the way. Otherwise, you get whacked.
Yeah, normally I'll get hit with the second one even, because sometimes they'll do like a spin to win for you.
Yeah,
but but the last stance, the moon stance, is for the big guys, obviously.
Right, yeah,
because
you've got
you got sword, shield, spear, big guy,
big boys.
But I find that whenever I'm fighting them, I don't try and dodge. As soon as I see they're trying to hit me, I'm like, triangle, like heavy hit.
Yeah, okay.
And
disrupt
it'll
them.
like they'll be like, ugh,
yeah.
how could you? I find I hit square very little. It's always triangle.
Yeah, right.
Fuck you.
Because you can do those mad combos with triangle. It's so sick. Like because I just unlocked the wind stance, I can now kick people, kick shield, kick spear guys. That's fucking
spear guys.
First thing I did was just upgrade the distance you can kick them.
Right? Like, I'm just gonna send you off the cliff.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And
you are not my problem anymore.
I haven't unlocked the ability where you can just run at people and press circle and it like takes them out, but that
I have that. That is
cool.
So good.
Yeah.
Except sometimes I find that I run at someone and I just roll in front of them instead of hitting them. I'm like, whoopsie, didn't time that well. But I think something that you will experience, and that I'm still amazed by, I absolutely fully cleared that bottom island, and I filled in so many of those stats and purchases. I was like, what am I going to do for this game? Like, I'm going to get all of the skill points. What am I going to do? There is so much more new stuff. Like, as you keep going, just more and more new shit. Like, I'm fully expecting them. Like, I'm like, they might just open up a new tab worth of skills for me to just buy into. Like, I don't even know, because I have so many skills and there's so much left to do, and they just keep adding new stuff for me.
Yeah,
like,
that's so sick.
There's so much cool stuff that I want to talk to you about in the second island, so I can't wait until we do.
I will get there.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
That's
so good.
And like I guess the amazing thing about this game is like we've barely spoken about the story. And it's nothing like the story isn't like twists and turns, and like it's pretty straightforward. And it does suffer from that, like I meet someone for a mission and I'm like, I need your help, and they're like, cool, you do this for me first and then I'll help you. And it's like, oh, for Christ's sake. But like I think it spins
it in a really good way though. Like
it all makes sense too. Like, you know, when it kind of sets you loose in the open world, and it's like you have to recruit the Straw Hat Ronin, you have to find Lady Masako, you have to find uh, the old samurai guy who I really like. I
Yeah,
can't
me
remember his
too.
name. But like, I love that.
Is
That's like you're recruiting a team to do this one thing, and that it all kind of ties in really well together. And like, you know, you have to find her brother, and then set up the forge, and then he makes you the
Tucker?
Tucker. It's so funny, Tucker. I love that. Like Tucker,
And I
that's
think
my
like
dog.
Tucker. I think like even like the Straw Hat Ronins, like you don't have to go find them at the start. Like it's not something that you know you're going to do, but through interactions in the world, you find them, like you catch up with them and you like find out about their troubles, and like they can't help you until this thing is overcome, and you're like, well, awesome, I'll do that. Like it's not like a, oh yeah, I'll help you if you go and find me 4 apples. Like it's not garbage.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah.
And it's story.
Absolutely. And everything is story. Like even like a 10-minute mission is a quick little story. There's no like bullshit that I've found at all. Like I helped some lady who was waiting for these people to turn up at her house or her little wherever she was. They weren't there, and we found them had been attacked, and then we caught up with them, and there was like a farmhouse on fire. We fought some people, and that was it. But it was like a little side story about like the brutality of what the Mongols are doing, and it was it was awesome. It was short, it was sweet, it still had the the title card of the mission, and like
so many short, sweet missions. I fucking love this game, dude. Like
it's really great. It is really great. The fact that like I think the biggest twist so far, and not like it needs twists or anything to make it a good story, but the biggest like oh shit, that I didn't really expect that to happen, is Ryuzo turning on you, and like there's a bounty on your head, and then the fact that he gets taken up to Shimura Castle and fucking sets that guy on fire. Like that scene was so
like,
fucking hectic,
dude.
man. And the fact that he's just like, open the gates, like he's the one screaming out, just like, don't make me do this again. And Khotan Khan is just that short scene is like just makes Khotan Khan so menacing, because he just doesn't give a fuck. Like he would have done that himself, but he just wanted to break Ryuzo, and like, oh fucking hell, like excellent storytelling. Oh,
I do have to say that Ryuzu's a dumb idiot though.
Absolutely, because
they kind of just helped out. You would have had food, dude.
They took the fucking castle. Exactly, that's what I said. I was like, you shouldn't have turned on me. We took the castle. You could have been here with your boys eating food. Like,
yeah, like by the time you fight him as well, there's not much further that you have to go.
He's like the boss essentially of that area.
He's like the last defense, and it's like, well, if I get to you, we're good. Like
exactly.
And like the other option is that you betray like Khotan Khan, and he puts a bounty out on your head. Like he's already murdering all of our island. Like
exactly.
It's not going to be any
exactly.
You may as well. But let me tell you, those Straw Hat Ronins, jerks. Mm-hmm. They are tough. Tough bastards. Fucking rude. How dare he, like, turn them against me, because I already had a lot of chopping to do. Get out of here.
I know, I feel bad. They were friends when they were kids as well. Like, and it's just like, the acting is excellent too. Like, I really, really love Lord Sakai. Like,
Who are the voice actors?
I don't know. Are you playing it in English?
I started in Japanese, but it was weird. Did you? Or did you play in English?
No, but I know that the lip sync is in English still.
Yeah, it weirded me out. And I was like,
It's like a reverse dub.
Exactly, that's exactly what I said. It's a reverse dub. And so I was like, it was cool. I don't particularly think that, I think Jin's voice is very gravelly in the Japanese one.
Right, okay.
And I'm like, whoa. So I switched to English because the lip sync didn't match up, and I was like, may as well be able to like when a cutscene's on, like go and grab food in the kitchen and not have to read everything, but be able to hear some of it, sort of thing. So I switched it on English, and I love it. They're all so good, but they all have like they all have accents, and I just wonder.
Yeah, they seem like a couple of them almost sound like almost Native American, but they like I would assume is Japanese.
It looks like he is Daisuke Tsuji.
Right.
So
I love that they've gone quite traditional with that as well. Not, they've obviously got, well, I would assume most of the time Japanese voice actors, instead of going for like away from the accent thing, which some games go like,
I really enjoy the accent thing. I'm loving it. It's so much more immersive to just like, it's easier for me to pretend I know the language, but to have that accent there, I freaking love it. And
because
you know what?
The pronunciation and stuff is perfect. Like,
stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't pronounce it like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that is an excellent design choice.
I think so too. There is, honestly, when I'm just looking at IMDb, there is one person that I can see that was born in America and he was born in New Mexico.
Right.
As opposed to saying that he's from anywhere else. And the only thing that he is credited for is additional characters. So he could play like a Mongol or who knows, he could play just random NPCs. But literally everyone else, like, this cast is amazing. Like, oh my god.
I bet if you looked into them, they're probably in so much Japanese stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because they're excellent actors.
Like, they are so good.
I also love that the Mongols communicate to each other in, I'm going to guess it's Mongolian. So you can't understand it?
So good.
Such a good idea.
Actually, this guy, the only guy that was born in America that I clicked on and saw, because I just clicked on a bunch of random ones. He apparently often serves as a voice double for the late Mako Iwamatsu. So he's probably very good.
Okay.
Maybe he lived in Japan for a bit. I don't know, but who knows?
That's awesome.
Amazing. Like, I freaking love it. Like, amazing. All of the main cast here. Let's have a look. I'm just gonna click on all of them now. Oh my god, my mouse is jumping all over the place. Francois. Because, like, what an effort. And in this time, like, where it's so, like, there's so many characters that are of color that are being played by white people.
Yeah.
Like, all of these people, except Greg, are people of color.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And it's so interesting because
are born in America, but clearly they have
Japanese
roots,
heritage.
history.
I think this is really cool because, like, it's Sony, they're a Japanese company, but it's an American studio.
Yeah.
Like that.
Why I guess it's a reverse dub.
yeah, potentially. But that's so sick. I'm just blown away by just the presentation is immense. I haven't even put it on like the samurai theater mode, but I imagine it's quite intense and cool.
I never use photo mode in games because I just couldn't give shit, but I use it in this game.
I haven't yet. I just looked at it for like a minute.
It's so good, the amount of things you can change.
Yeah.
And set up. Like, the only thing I wish is that the camera could float a bit more away from the character. Like, I wish I could just do.
Can you remove Jin from it entirely?
I haven't tried.
Because you can do that.
But you can hide it behind stuff.
True. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Because in Horizon, you can just remove Aloy entirely. And also she
Same
has
in Animal Crossing.
like loads of poses. I don't know if he has poses. I haven't gone super in depth with it.
I haven't found poses.
I would love that though, to
you
be able
can
to have
change his
poses.
expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought he would have poses. I
Like
thought we'd get like
praying or like
kneeling.
on his knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like with his
That's
sword
what I wanted.
out or something like that. And I
Well,
mean, they can add that stuff
You can
later
pull the
on.
sword out through a gesture, so you can get the sword out.
Ah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
right. And then
Now
yeah,
through the touchpad gestures.
true. But you can't
there's
kneel.
and you can flute, but you can't kneel. And I really wanted to kneel for some of mine. I think they would be so good. So you just gotta take your screenshots where you can for those ones.
And I love that you can do like little short clips as well. That's very clever.
And play whatever music you like.
Yeah.
Oh, the place where I am now, I was like standing on top of this thing, just listening to the music.
Yeah.
Before I was like, okay, I have to go get ready for this recording. I was just like, I don't want to turn it off.
That's
It's so beautiful. The scene's gorgeous. The music is beautiful. I don't want to turn it off.
I think I've changed
I'm in love.
the end music of the podcast to something from Ghost of Tsushima this week, just to cap it off, you know. And to cap it off, because we're looking at an hour 40 at the moment, because goddamn, this game. Yeah, I know. I think we've been talking about Ghost for like 45 minutes. Friend of the show, Grey Aussie Gamer, asks a question. How hard God, I can't even read. How hard will Assassin's Creed struggle this year thanks to the environment and combat of this game? Talking about, obviously, Ghost of Tsushima. And I think that is a very good question, because I can't stop thinking that this is the Assassin's Creed game I've wanted. Like, with not the...
I agree.
It doesn't have the crazy deep RPG stuff. It is still open world, and it's still, you know, has the customization, and the combat is excellent. It's like the Japanese Assassin's Creed game that we never got, like, for some ungodly reason. I can see them wanting to capitalize on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, it's a long time since I've played an Assassin's Creed game, but one of my gripes with it was always the combat. I was just like, this is just smack, boring.
Yeah, it was all about counterattacks, but it got very repetitive.
Yeah. And now, this, just the stance changing just makes it so much more engaging, because I guess essentially it's still the same thing. You're trying to counter an attack.
Yeah.
As in every game.
That's what a sword fight is, right? Like. Yeah.
But the stance changing makes it so much more engaging to be in those group battles, as opposed to just like dodging and hitting and dodging and hitting. Like, you actually, like, there's a lot more thought going into it.
And it's not like Dark Souls hard or anything like that, but like, if you're not careful, you will get killed in like a number of hits. Like, it's not like you can take 50 shots and then you start going down.
No, I've died quite a bit.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk about this, and it's a bit sideways to what we're talking about Assassin's Creed, but like, loading screens, like, nearly not even there. Like 5-6 seconds. I can't even read when you fast travel. I know. Yeah.
I can't read my tooltip. I'm like, what did you say?
Why even give you the option to skip the tooltips if you can't even read the first one, you know?
Yeah, like, it's like next tooltip, and I'm like, I have just read next tooltip. I didn't even read
I know.
It's like, Jin can, and I'm like, Jin can what? What can he do?
What can he do?
It's so quick.
Which is very impressive. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially seeing as the last title I played was Horizon Zero Dawn, and the loads in that are pretty atrocious.
Very long.
So,
yeah.
Like, just go read a whole thread while I'm waiting for that to load. But it's to the point where like I'll be handing something to a family member, and I'll die. This happened to me just before dinner. I was in a duel, and my mum was trying to pass something to me. I was trying to pass something to her, whatever. And I died 4 times before I could get back to it, because it just kept, like, it's just, the load time was so quick, and then he attacking me, and then I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's
And then it asked
excellent.
me if I wanted to down the difficulty, which
Oh,
I
really?
didn't. If you die too many
You've
times,
died
it's like,
too many times.
yeah, it's like, do you wanna pop the difficulty down, babe? And I'm like, no,
Nah, bruh.
no.
Back to
I
Grace's
will.
question though. I think this is going to compete somewhat with Assassin's Creed, like in the way that it is an open world game. I think, like,
Assassin's Creed was already in a bad position.
yes, it really is. And if like, I just think even the stealth in this feels better than Assassin's Creed, and
Absolutely.
like you don't have a
It's
hidden blade.
happening.
You have a tanto or tanto or whatever they're called.
Door.
But that is so effective to, like, there's none of this level gating bullshit, and the
Yeah.
world is sublimely created. And to be fair, Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks like it's going to have a really interesting world, but it is like it's got all those Assassin's Creed things, and like it's probably going to have XP boosters and microtransactions, which I think are going to, like, to me, give me that single player just
Yeah.
action. It's so much
You know what as
better.
well? Like every there's so much to collect in both games.
Hmm.
Like there's so much of that collecty world exploring garbage. But everything that I collect and explore in Ghost of Tsushima is a delight. Like
Yeah, I'm interested
pure
to learn about it. Yeah.
yeah, it's never out of the way. I'm always happy to go.
Yeah.
And it's always rewarding me with something. Whereas other games, there's collectibles for the sake of collectibles. And in a way there is in this as well, but they don't make it hard or unfun.
Yeah.
Like they've just crafted it so well.
And the fact that,
that
like,
it's fun.
each one seems to have a purpose, like you're saying about the saddles. Like, you don't learn that until you get up to that certain part of the game anyway. But it's like, why am I finding these banners? And then there's a reason to find them, because you get saddles out of it. Like, there is a reward for you searching for those things. I think that's excellent. Whereas Assassin's Creed, and again, I haven't played it really, like, I haven't played Odyssey. I've watched a bit of it. I haven't played Origins. I started it, but it didn't grab me. Assassin's Creed's always felt like, I don't know, with the feathers thing, and everyone goes back to this. I collected all those fucking feathers in Assassin's Creed 2. I had the bloody Prima walkthrough guide, and it took me and my mate hours and hours to get these 200 feathers. You got a fucking cloak out of it, and all the cloak did was make guards attack you. It's like, that is the worst. And then for some reason my game bugged and I didn't get the achievement for wearing it in every city, even though I went around and wore it in every city. And it's like, I spent fucking hours getting those fucking feathers, and I still have like 98% achievement score in Assassin's Creed thanks to that. So that is not a good enough, like, reward for finding stuff. Whereas in this, like, even just like, I don't know, you find the fox shrine. Not only is it like really enjoyable to find a fox, chase him, find the shrine, it gives you something towards getting another charm slot, and then you get to pat a fox, and then he like hops around ridiculously cutely and then runs away so fast that you can't chase him. Because I tried for about 5 minutes. I was like, come back, fox. Like, there's reward for exploration, and not just,
and it's so easy to explore. Like,
yes.
in games like you needed a guide. Like it's hard to find them all.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, like, you can find the shit while you're walking around, because foxes will take you to it, or birds will take you to it. So, and that's a delight.
Or
you're like,
the
a
outfit
bird
you wear can take you to it.
The outfit I wear like
wind.
vibrates when I'm near things, and will like vibrate at different scales, so I can tell where I'm going. You can purchase different winds so that you can like know which direction you should roughly go in to find the stuff that you're missing, and people will give you hints about stuff that you've not found as well. Like, I found parts of a like a legendary, or whatever they're called, a mythical thing, before I'd even been told by the musician. And like,
sick.
it makes it really easy for you to find stuff and move forward, as opposed to being like, let me just check every single corner of this open world, and there may or may not be something, and I might miss it even if I've gone there because I'm too stupid and blind. Me. Like,
Yeah,
it's
totally
make
agree.
it so easy to have fun.
Yeah, and to have fun, and it is fun. It's so fun and relaxing and gorgeous, and like it's fucking phenomenal.
And Assassin's Creed will fail because of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Assassin's Creed. I don't know what it is. I love RPGs, but I'm not interested in Assassin's Creed being an RPG. And I know a lot of people are. Good on them. I'm happy for them. That's awesome. I'm glad they enjoy that franchise still. But it doesn't seem like the story matters as much anymore. Whereas,
absolutely, I agree.
The story is it is so integral in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's like the whole world tells a story as well, because it's like the invasion and everything. Like, everything that's going on is because of the main thing that's happening. Like, the world doesn't really exist outside of that invasion right now. It is fucked up. And it all leads back to what you're, actually trying to achieve, which is, stop the Mongols. I think that's fucking awesome.
I think this game just doesn't help to its already bad position. Like, it's a not yearly, but mostly yearly franchise that, apart from being in a new setting and having a few new things, doesn't necessarily bring a whole lot of new excitement. Like, still excitement for something that people enjoy, but not a lot of new excitement. But then you have like all of these new IPs and games coming out all around it, as well as something that kind of fits in with its theme earlier in the year. Like, I don't know, it will probably do well anyway because so many people love it.
But also Ubisoft is so guilty of just overdoing their open worlds, and it's going to be bigger and better and more, more this and more that. Like, the Ghost of Tsushima map it's big, sure, but it's not insane. Like, you can just walk across it. Like, when I click on a marker and it's like halfway across the map, it's like 2Ks, maybe. Which is nothing, really.
2.6Ks is the longest I've seen. And, that's nothing.
That is
I can run that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not IRL for me, but...
Yeah, not for me. I used to, but not anymore. No. Not anymore.
But it's like it's weird because it's so deep. There's so much to see, but it's also like there's so many just beautiful. It's dense, but it's also like there's so many just areas where it's just this beautiful landscape. Like, I don't know how they've managed to make a game dense, but also like just rolling hills, but there's just something down there that you can, maybe there's something in those rocks down there, or at the same time it's not overly ridiculously big.
I agree. And like, again, I'm so amazed by how I can run past things so many times, and then I'm on the way back and I'm like, holy shit, I've never seen that fucking bright red tree before. Let me just pop on over. Like, man, we keep getting off track.
Yeah, I know. We should wrap this up. That was almost 2 hours, so excellent.
You're welcome.
Excellent game. And to anyone who clicked off and now you're back because you clicked the time card, hello.
Anyone who's on the fence, go get it.
Yeah, go buy it.
You don't need to be
if you've listened to this whole thing and been spoiled for the first act, I mean, you'll still love it anyway. Once the Metacritic user score is accurate, this game is definitely up there. Also, it could be my favorite game this year, I think, that I've played.
Yeah, we'll see how Cyberpunk goes at the end of the year, but holy shit, this game's so...
Yeah.
And there's a lot of story stuff that we didn't talk about at all. Like, we talked about some big story beats, but there's a lot of really cool storytelling in there that you should experience. Go and do it. Go and experience it.
Go and do it. Go buy it. And go subscribe. Whew, look at that segue. Subscribe to Direckt Gaming. Follow me on Twitter at Direckt Gaming. Follow Kat at CapCatty on Twitter. and at capcat.works on Instagram. I will add that in next week. I keep forgetting to change the backdrop. And put some little logos in. I'm going to try and get this edited to come out in the morning, but we shall see. It's 2 hours long, so it might take a while to upload. You can find us on Anchor as well, or your favorite podcast provider. If you're watching this in video form currently on YouTube, head over to anchor.fm/Direckt Gaming. That's with a C and a K, like it is down there. And just search for Controllers and Coffee on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. It's on pretty much everything now. Wherever you get your podcast fix. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks to all the new subscribers as well. Loving that. It makes me feel good, you know what I'm saying? And keep an eye out for a new video this week about Xbox, probably again. And then it's Xbox's big old presentation on the 23rd. So be
a couple of days away
for a lot of good stuff. And yeah, demos for the Xbox thing start tomorrow. I'm going to have to make time to play some of them and put down Ghost of Tsushima because it's difficult to put down. But I want to see what these demos are. So yeah, thank you all for stopping by. Have a lovely night. Thanks for joining me again, Kat. As always, see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.